1, 2, 3.
The bigger picture. That is what you Hollywood stands for.
I push myself every single day to make
It's beyond anything else.
Are you ready for the entertainer? Me, Tommy NC 2010. Hello, folks, and welcome back to another awesome episode of Tommy Talks. This is a special episode. Let me tell you something, folks. We have a special guest here. He is a very entertaining man. He has his own radio show here in Western North Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pete Kaliner. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well, Tommy. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing splendid, and I appreciate it. It's an honor just to have such a prestige guest as
You're
you.
too kind. You're too kind. Does that count as my first? Does that count as my question to you? Me asking you how you're doing? No.
No, sir.
Okay. All right. I want to save that for later then. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay. So you get this interview. Boom! That's how we do it, folks, here on YouTube. Let it roll. So, first question: is this the first interview you have done here on YouTube? Or I know that you're a multi kind of guy, you know, in politics and radio. Is this the first interview you ever done here on YouTube?
I did. Well, I did a podcast for. It was on Google, the G Plus Circles or something like that.
G plus.
With the G Plus. So I did one that way, but never on YouTube. This is the first YouTube experience.
You know, I wanted my best to give this the best experience for you, and I knew that this would be the most high quality platform for you to be here on the Tommy Talk Show.
Natural.
The most
Natural.
electrifying show here on YouTube, most electrifying guests, and the most electrifying times here on YouTube. Now, who inspired you to get into radio, and what started it all?
I don't know if there was any one person that inspired me to get into radio. I know I grew up listening to radio. I grew up listening to NPR. My dad was a big National Public Radio fan up in New York. I grew up in New York, and he would listen all the time in the car when he wasn't listening to John Denver 8 tracks in the car in his old Volkswagen Bug. But he used to make a commute from the island into New York City. And on the rare occasions when my brother and I, or sisters and I, would go in to work with him, we would listen all the way in. And there was I think it was a summer, my brother and I did a couple of weeks there working at his office and doing various things around his office. And so we rode in pretty much every day with him for a couple of weeks over a summer. And that was where we kind of got exposed to spoken word format radio, news talk, if you will. And then we were hooked, and we listened to, back then they had a program it originated out of New York City, I believe, and it was called Small Things Considered. It's a play on the show title, All Things Considered. They did Small Things Considered. It was a show for kids. And so we would listen to this news talk radio show basically for kids, and they had all sorts of songs and stuff. I think that might be part of it, and the fact when I was in elementary school, I loved to write, and I had some teachers who let me read my stories in front of the class. So I would write these stories, and then I would read them in front of the class, and basically what I do now, except I don't write the stories so much. Now I rely on other people to write stories and columns and articles. I do some of that, but for the most part, I'll take that material, the current events, and just kind of make that part of the show and take phone calls and kind of riff off of the various current events.
Now, what is the biggest fear of your job? Like with your massive fan base, have you ever had any troubles with people harassing you or stalking you, because celebrities have their own ways. I've had my troubles in the past. When my channel blew up, I haven't released this, but I actually was swatted actually when my channel blew up on YouTube. And swatting is basically when somebody calls the police, fake calls the police. Has anything ever happened that for you?
No. It's apparently a bigger problem on YouTube, but than in the political arena. But it has happened, and it's like that to me. To me, that's almost an attempted murder on you, because for somebody to take that kind of an action, they are hoping at best that you get scared, and at worst you get killed in a firefight with law enforcement, because that has, and some people have become dangerously close to having those types of events occur with that. I mean, that's an entirely different level of targeting. I've been stalked. Yes, we had people come to the house. One particular stalker, purchased my name on the internet, purchased my name as a domain.
Wow.
So that was, and then used it to, say awful things. He's dead now, but that was a good lesson to learn. So yeah, you gotta protect yourself, both with your in your digital footprint, your digital presence, but also in your physical presence, which is why I highly recommend people get their concealed carry, get training, and learn self-defense.
Now, how did you find yourself here in Western North Carolina?
Well, let's see. I'm originally from New York. I went down to Winthrop University, went to college down there in Rock Hill, and got a job out of college in Charlotte. Worked in Charlotte for, from 97 until 2011, and I'm sorry, 2012. And I got a phone call because I had been out. So I was a reporter, became a talk show host, in the evenings, and our company got bought. I worked at a station called WBT in Charlotte. I was 9 to midnight. It was my first job as a host after being a reporter for many years. And from there, we got bought by a company out of Boston, and they began, as is normal, they began firing people. And so my contract was up, and they said, we're not renewing your contract. And I was one of, there aren't a lot of talk show hosts that are still on the air 9 to midnight. It's just not a time slot that the industry that advertisers want to buy and people can sell in the industry. So it's just not a time slot where people, particularly at a local level, are hired. So I kind of knew that I was always skating on thin ice, and so they did not renew the contract. And so I went to work in TV, and I did some work in TV. But before I got the TV job, I was asked to fill in by the previous host that had this time slot, Matt Matam. And Matt had asked me to fill in for him on two or three days. And when I had lost my gig at WBT in Charlotte. And when that occurred, apparently I made an impression, because when Matt left, when he quit wwnc, the program director, the boss there, called me up and said, do you want to get back into radio? And so I said, sure. And so he said, well, the job has come open, we want, you should apply. And I did. And I'm forever grateful. I actually just told him about a week ago, I was in the hallway, and I said, I just want to let you know. I said, I was sitting out looking out my window, and I saw the sunset over the mountains here. And I said, I just wanted to thank you again for, asking me to come, asking me to apply. And, because it's been a great 5 years. I've been here since 2012. That's how I got here, and it's been a joy. It really has. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a very steep learning curve because it's there's a different culture here versus Charlotte. Charlotte is a very kind of trader merchant kind of culture, very chamber business kind of culture, and here is just different. This is a mountain culture, and there's a lot of in the political arena, as it was said to me by a former governor, Asheville is a blue dot in a sea of red, politically speaking. Has a lot of conservatism around Asheville and a lot of progressivism inside of it.
Yeah. Now, your intro is very exquisite, and one thing is always caught me is your movie references. Now, out of all the movies that references in the beginning of your show, what is your favorite movie quote from separating out what is your all-time favorite movie quote in your intro for your show?
Well, we changed the intro, so we stripped it down. So there aren't even any quotes left in the intro. We just use the movie sound bites now throughout the program in the what we call the bumper music. So when you're coming back from a break, you got some music playing, and then we'll hit the sound bite from a movie. I don't know, we just added in this past, because we just changed all of that. We changed the intro, and we added some more sound bites from different movies into the rotation, and it was I want to say the ones from The Other Guys, the movie The Other Guys with is it Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg. I mean, the movie to me, if I could pull more audio from that movie, I would. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to work it into the different topics or themes that we're doing on a particular day, but there are some real, and then of course there's the language. There's a lot of cussing in some of the funnier lines, and they don't make sense if you eliminate the curse words. So it's just, but I would pull more of those. I do like. I mean, the one that always makes me laugh is the, I'm a peacock, you gotta let me fly. The other guy. I just love the line. It's just hilarious. I like the one taken from Dodgeball as well. We've got one from Dodgeball where the scene. Have you ever seen the movie?
Yes,
Dodgeball?
I have. I love that movie.
Yeah. So where Ben Stiller, the muscle guy, and he's up against Vince Vaughn. They're in the bar, and Vince Vaughn says, "Oh, I didn't know they let Nazi camp out early. Did you cut arts and crafts or something like that?" and so they get into this back and forth, and and the way they argue that, it reminds me of very many debates I have with people on air, off air, where it's like you think you're arguing a point and you think you're going back and forth about something, and you get to this point where you're like, oh, I'm saying that, you're saying that, I don't really know what the point of this debate is anymore, and that's why I like that soundbite too. I like them all. The only reason they get into the show is because we like them, Which one do you like? That doesn't count as my question either. That doesn't count as my official question.
I know. It's the difference. It's called wit.
It's called wit. Yeah, that was one from Tank Spencer, the producer. Tank put that one in there.
Oh, really? Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, so I couldn't even tell you what movie that one's from. He put another one in there from The Godfather where Marlon Brando smacks the.
Why don't you act like a man?
Right, and then he smacks him, and I later found out that clip, that scene, like if you go back and watch the scene, you will see somebody else who was in the scene starts laughing, almost like they're trying to suppress a laugh, because that was not part of the script. Marlon Brando just smacked the guy, and it was not part of the script, so he wasn't prepared for it. And the other actor on scene, you could see him suppressing his laugh because he was about to bust out laughing. So I like that one too.
One of my other ones is from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and he's like, when you're telling these stories, make a point, make so much interesting for the listener.
For the listener, yeah, it's a great line too. Steve Martin's great line.
Oh God, that is one of my other favorites. When I was I kind of started. Me and my parents are all big fans of your show.
Well, thank you. I bet your dad's a very nice guy. I met him. He came down to we were taking donations, I want to say, for either the Christmas drive or the Tools for Schools.
Yeah.
And he came by and we chatted for a while. He's a very nice guy.
Yeah, my dad's a good man. He's a salesman. My dad could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves, honestly.
Very nice.
What movie is that? What quote is that from, by the way?
I don't know. That's a good one, though.
Tommy Boy.
Oh, okay. I do
He's
like
telling,
that.
the character is telling Tommy Boy, the other guy that's with him, is talking how much of an idiot the son is, and he's telling how great how his father's like, you know what, your father could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. A woman in white gloves?
Well, that's one of my favorite lines from a movie. Comes from Tommy Boy when David Spade says to him, "Oh, lots of people go to college for 7 years. They're called doctors and lawyers." Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
If we could find a way to use that one, we would. I do quote that one sometimes during if we get to if we're doing a topic that I can actually work it into. I will try to work it in.
what
Yeah.
do you think about this one? He's too afraid to get out. He's just a little guy.
Yeah, fat guy in a little coat. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the great movies. It is.
Yeah, and the way you talk about things and the discussions you have with people really captures my eye, and I really do listen in to what you're saying when I am listening to the radio. And I got to say that you really have a tremendous show, Mr. Calendar.
Well, thank you. Oh, I appreciate that. It's very kind of you.
And let me think. What have another? I understand that you've won a few awards. Now, is those awards for the show that you currently have now, or was that
No.
some of those in the past?
Nobody would give me an award for the show I do now. But no, I don't know. I don't even know if there are awards. I'm sure there are. No, the awards that I received over the course of my career were awards for journalism, for being a reporter, radio reporter, and the Radio Television News Directors Association of the Carolinas is the name of the organization. RTNDAC. It's the acronym that they go by. And God, I mean, I couldn't even tell you the names or the awards that I won at this point, and the years I don't remember, because like you submit awards for individual stories in different categories and such, and so I don't remember what they were. It's been a decade,
I understand.
15 years now. Yeah, it's been a long time.
I have to say that people. I actually have my own award myself. I don't know if you've ever seen it in the episodes. It's a play button. When YouTubers reach a certain amount of subscribers, 100K exactly, it sits right next to me. When you see the episode's probably going up tomorrow. This is being pre-recorded, folks, just to let you know that. So early Tuesday, maybe Tuesday afternoon, I don't know. Just have to get a thumbnail. That's just a thumbnail, Mr. Calendar, is something that presents the video to everybody.
Try to do this. I guess it would be that. Thumbnail.
Oh,
You take that and use that as your thumbnail for your YouTube video. I do watch videos. I know. I didn't know they gave you the play, but I know they gave you. So I guess YouTube gives you stuff. Like I saw some people I've seen get, I guess, recording equipment or something. Like, did they just change that up for different like levels that you hit or something? If you get 500,000 subscribers or something.
Well, sir,
That doesn't count as my question either.
I understand. Well,
Okay.
the thing is that when YouTubers, if I was to hit 1 million subscribers, I get a massive gold play button, and it's humongous. It's just a big gold play button, and that's the level. And for instance, PewDiePie hit 50 million subscribers, and they send this gigantic brass fist to him in the mail, and for hitting 50 million subscribers.
Yeah, but he's like the only one that has that, right? Isn't
Yeah.
he like he's like the most? So like they only have to make one of those,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's not like they got a bunch of brass fists laying around the office. They're mailing out to everybody. Right? He's only got one. There's only one guy that's gotten that kind of. I remember because I think I saw some. I'm trying to remember who it was. Oh, he was a Minecraft guy. He did Minecraft, a British guy. Mumbo Jumbo.
Mumbo
Yeah.
Jumbo. I don't think I've heard of
Mumbo,
that.
he was Mumbo, and then his buddy was Jumbo for like their first season, and then Jumbo quit, and so then it was like the Mumbo Jumbo channel, but it was only Mumbo. His name is Ollie. Anyway, I just remember seeing I think this was a picture, or maybe he tweeted it out or something, that he had hit a certain number. He's a pretty popular Minecraft guy. I saw it a couple years ago, and so maybe they've just changed the different prizes that they give out. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
'cause he got like a microphone. I want to say. I think they sent him a microphone. I don't remember.
well, when you hit a certain amount of subscribers, they give you they gave me a silver play button. That's when 100K subscribers, and it looks like a book. Honestly, when I got my play button, I was it's one of the greatest achievements that you can achieve here on YouTube is reaching 100K subscribers, and I honestly almost cried when I got this play button.
Well, I mean, by comparison, the radio show that I do gets we receive. I want to say it's somewhere around 20,000 people, 20,000 listeners a week.
Wow.
That's it. So I mean that's so week to week. So like if you listen one day this week and then listen one day next week, that's still the same. You get counted once this week and then once next week.
Wow.
So it's not. So you've got with 100,000 subscribers, you've got way more. You're a bigger presence than I am. I should call you Mister.
I don't feel like a mister sometimes. I just feel like a 26-year-old kid. It lives here in North Carolina and picks up a camera and makes videos once in a while. That's, and when people say, "What's a VCR player, sir?" And I'm like, "Excuse me, did you just call me sir? And did you just ask me what a VCR player is?"
Yeah, that's when you know you're an adult, is when people call you sir in the grocery store. Yeah.
It's a difference. It's called wit.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh God. Well, let me think here. I'm trying to think of another question I can ask you. But if you want to go into asking your one question and one impersonation, I can do that, and I can also give you another one if you want. Since you're a special guest.
What does the special guest status get me?
It gets you, actually, there's 2 questions. That will give you a third question.
I get 3 questions?
And an impression.
And an impression?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, first question.
Yes, sir.
What is your favorite part about doing your YouTube videos? What do you like most about it? What's your favorite part?
My favorite part is honestly the fans and turning on the camera and interacting with people, showing them my life and giving them the experience of myself and here in Western North Carolina, and showing people, hey, look at this nice little town here in Black Mountain. Come join me. I'll show you around, and you're going to love it because I've been doing this since 2010.
Mm-hmm. So, second question, then, sort of related.
Yeah.
Have you met people that have come to Black Mountain to see you because of your videos?
Yes, I've had multiple occasions where I've had fans come to Black Mountain. I made a video saying, hey, if you come to Black Mountain and you video DM me and say, Tommy, I'm in Black Mountain, let's meet up at Denny's and have lunch. I've had people message me and say, Tommy, I'm here in Black Mountain. I have a part-time job. I've had people show up at my part-time job and say, Tommy, we watch you on YouTube. Tommy, we watch the Food Dude Review Crew. Me and Hamza, that's another channel we have. It's called the Food Dude Review Crew. The food we bought is the food for thought. Your food for your thought. We've had people come up and say, Food Dude! And I'm like, Food Dude Review Crew. Because there already is a dude named Food Dude. And we're the Food Dude Review Crew. We're the guys that roll into the restaurant and we sample all the food and we love all the food. We're the guys that are not negative. We're the positive reviewers.
I've seen it. I've seen an episode or two of that, actually. I've seen an episode or two. You did a pizza joint once, I think. You went to a pizza place in Black Mountain, if I remember.
Yeah, which one?
As I was saying that, I was thinking that might not be specific enough. Yeah.
We have done My Father's Pizza. We have done Fresh. We did do the one down here. It's not there anymore. They went out of business a while back ago. Which
Is it because you gave them a bad review? Did you give them a bad review and
no,
they
no,
went out?
no. We gave him a good review, but it was just the politics and just the owner. I'm guessing it's we give it we. I tell you what, we give it the best review we can,
Mm-hmm.
and it's up. And here's the thing, it's up to the owner to keep his place open. Like we do a review, we put it online, and we hope people come flocking and coming to check out their restaurants. That's up to the owner to keep his place open.
Oh, I completely agree. When it's the same thing in radio advertising, we can get people to call you. We can get them to go to your store. We can get them to give you an opportunity. But at that point, like I can't make you, do a good job. I can't make you sell a good product or service. You've got to do that yourself. So, you can only do so much. For restaurants, that's a really tough business. I worked in restaurants for a long time before I got into radio, and it's a tough line of work. The profit margins can be pretty tight, and a lot of restaurants go out of business. So, it's just not a lot of room for error. You got to really know what you're doing.
Yes, you definitely do. And in this business, in the entertainment field, is the one thing is that is the most important thing is production and the presenting it. And one of my biggest dreams is, Pete.
I was going to ask you what your 5-year plan is. What is your goal? Where do you want to be in 5 years from now? That was my third question.
Honestly, I'd love to be on TV or on radio. Honestly, that's one of my biggest dreams is to have my own network where I have different YouTubers working at this building, working on making content. There's a guy called the Nostalgia Critic, and he has what I want. Honestly, he has. I look up to this man because he inspired me to be who I am today, and he has what I would love to have. I would love to function and run the Tommy Network. That's what I call my. That's what I call my office here, and that's one of my biggest dreams is to have. To be the most positive guy here on the internet and to lift up the world with positivity and never stop entertaining.
So but the platform. So you said TV or radio, but YouTube is an entirely and the internet, digital, is an entirely new platform. So you like today's day and age for people in my profession as a radio host. This is actually a pretty good time to be a radio host because so many hosts that lose their jobs in radio go over onto the digital platform and do it there, and they can do it there, and try and make money doing it that way, which is difficult because you don't have the two things to keep in mind. You have a brand and you have the platform, right? So your platform is your digital platform. My platform is radio. The brand is you. Your
Yes.
brand is you. My brand is me. So you got to protect that. Always protect your brand, but never mistake your brand for the platform. You can never confuse the two things. They are separate. You can use the platform, but you can do what you do anywhere. And in fact, doing what you do on the platform you do it on,
YouTube.
you have way more flexibility and you've got greater freedom to do what you want on your platform than I do on mine. I'm restricted. I mean, I've got the government telling me that I can't say certain words, not that I would, but I've got the government saying that it's very regulated. I've got bosses and stuff. It's a very different scenario. And so you on a digital platform, you got a lot of freedom and you're actually in a great spot because you've got all of those content creators in YouTube that can provide you all of those different, all that content. How you harness that, you don't need to be even in a building together, right? You can have them all part of your network, but you don't even have to be in the same building because of the platform. That's the beauty of the platform.
Yeah. One thing about this YouTube, sir, is that there is a lot of freedoms here, but there is a lot of YouTube comes down on you because they are very strict about monetization. Yes, you can make money here on YouTube, And the thing is that YouTube recently has had a crackdown. They have been, as you know, Pepsi and Coke, they have pulled out because of the Wall Street Journal spreading out false lies and spreading out, hurting personally the YouTube community, and why the Wall Street Journal would want to do something like this. It really tells you that, why do they want to hurt us? Why do they want to, because here's what they're trying to do. They want to focus more attention on their media, and they could figure, okay, if we could destroy that media, we could build up our media. Wouldn't you agree, sir?
Well, I don't know. What did the Wall Street Journal? I don't pay for the Wall Street Journal, so I don't know. What did they do to harm YouTubers?
Well, they basically were pointing. They put out an article saying that YouTube was putting ads on videos that were vulgarity and violent videos, and so Coke and Pepsi and a lot of these big companies saw that, and they were like, "Oh, really? That our ads are playing on that? Let's pull that out." And what that does is there's people on this platform, sir, that are making 7-figure incomes, and they're having to pay for their family like you do with your show, sir. It's like somebody coming onto your show and saying, "Okay, Mr. Calendar, guess what? You're losing your sponsors today." Why? Because you are against Donald Trump, or you said this.
That's happened. That is actually an example that has happened, and that is the world in which we live. In that the political pressure applied to advertisers harms the content creators. So we all say we want content, and news organizations want content, and YouTube and digital and maybe Facebook, right? Everybody wants this content, but as soon as people start generating the content, then people feel the need to control it because if you don't control it, then oh my gosh, somebody's going to say something that's controversial or is vulgar or something. And my view on it, and I'm a limited government libertarian guy, is like, if you don't like it, then turn the channel. But other people say, well, I don't like it, and so that needs to be restricted. And what people on YouTube, I am aware of this aspect, is that people on YouTube are finding out, and Twitter as well, that when you call for censorship, essentially, of content with which you disagree, you can't control all the censorship, because at some point they come for you. That's the way it always goes. At some point they start censoring you. And what Coke and Pepsi sounds like has done is that they've decided that they can't control where their ads run, and so they don't want their ads to run in front of or during a vulgar video. So they just said, you know what, we're out. And look, that happens in talk radio. There are companies that refuse to advertise on talk shows, on news talk stations like mine. I've had advertisers pull their advertising because we are controversial programming. And who does it hurt? Yes, it hurts me, but you know who it actually hurts? Like, we had one client that pulled out because of pressure from progressive groups. And I'm not going to name the company or anything like that, but they pulled out. And who it hurts, though, is like our sister station, which is a progressive talk station, but it's a much smaller signal. They have way fewer advertisers. But when a company says we're not going to advertise anymore on news talk, that means that smaller station loses too, and we can absorb it. We've got enough advertisers that want to be part of our product, but that small progressive station doesn't. And that's who they end up hurting. And that's sort of what's happening with YouTube, is that now everybody you hear me talk about it on the show, the outrage. Everybody is outraged about everything. And instead of just saying, well, I didn't like that video, so I won't watch it. I won't subscribe to that channel. I won't give it a thumbs up. Instead of just doing that, no, they've got to lobby the corporate advertiser. You need to pull your advertising. You need to get off of, this video. And then what happens? YouTube either comes in and bans videos, or the advertiser says, we're just not going to advertise anywhere. We'll just pull all the ads completely. And that's what it sounds like Coke and Pepsi have done. So I don't necessarily blame the Wall Street Journal for that. I blame the people that have made that something that those companies now feel like they need to respond to. And it's just, that's where we are. Everything is political. And as a YouTuber, you're going to be swimming in those waters. You are swimming in those waters. No doubt about it. Somebody comes along, and if they could come along and see that you've interviewed me right now, and they hate me, and then they'll come after you, and they'll try to get any advertiser on your show to pull out from you. That's the reality of where we are. That's the and look at what we've discussed tonight. Nothing controversial, right? But just because of what I do for a living, they'll target you. That's where we are in America today.
And it's interesting. And just recently, I did call into your show. I don't know if your producer told you that
today. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I was trying to call in but I guess I didn't know what the subject you were talking about. I didn't want to bother you. So
I run a tight ship, Tommy. You got to talk about what I'm talking about.
I thought you were talking about the guy shooting people on the street, and I was like gonna come in there and say, yeah, that's very wrong. I actually had already found out from a friend of mine on the Foul Mouth Network. He was already telling me that there was a live stream on YouTube, and I'm like, that on YouTube, that would get pulled so quickly before you could even blink. Now, Facebook Live is a different story.
Well, and as I understand it, he shot the video and then posted it after. So I don't think he actually, I call it face tubing because I think it's a complete ripoff of YouTube and Twitter as well with their Periscope app. But and that's a whole different thing too. Like Facebook is trying to get content as well. But the problem with Facebook is that they need you to make the content, right? You and me and Facebook users, they need us to make the content. But how do they incentivize that? And then how do they monetize it? How do they make money off of a video that you're shooting just to show me, or I'm shooting just to show you? If I just want to say, hey, check in with mom and dad or something, and FaceTube live stream with them, how does Facebook monetize that interaction? They've got a problem trying to get at that. So like there have been stories that they're actually paying news organizations like CNN and I think TMZ as well. They're paying these organizations for the content. So that's why you're seeing, or at least you did. It seems like it's kind of dropped off a lot in the last month or so. But they've been paying organizations to do to create content. Whereas with YouTube, people create the content because they want to, and then they put it up on their channel and it just sits there. And if enough people like it, then it'll get monetized. Yeah. And people will make money off of it, and everybody's happy.
Yeah, I've had situations where videos that there was nothing wrong with the video. It was just a video that I got struck was called Technical Issues. It was an episode of Tommy Talks that I did when I was living with my parents, and I was having issues with Google Plus and and they struck that. They demonetized the video, and I'm like, I watched the whole entire video, and I'm like, there's nothing controversial about that video. Now, I did a video talking about Columbine, what's Columbine, and I was talking about what happened, the breakdown of everything that went down, why Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold did it, but it was wrong for them to do it, but at the same time, they demonetized that video.
Yeah, that's what I mean. When you turn it over, well, I shouldn't say turn it over because it is their platform. Again, never a mistake. The brand for the platform, right? So it's their platform. They own the platform, and so they can set their terms of service. It's this is a free country still, and it's their platform. So they'll ding people. They'll demonetize them. And that's their call. They get to do that. And if we don't like it, then you set up another platform. But, keep in mind that if you set one up and you're like, well, I'll just let anybody post anything. Okay, so what about the guy who shot people? Do you keep that video up, or is that too far?
That's too far.
Because that's censorship.
Take that one down.
Right, but that's censorship. Right?
Yeah.
It is. It's, do you take down videos of people holding up a firearm? Right? Is it, because you see pictures like you got guys that are flashing gang signs and holding guns and stuff. And is that different than, say, like a soldier posing with the rifle? Like, so if you say, okay, no firearms posted on my platform. Okay, so you'd have to take both of those photos down. Are they the same photo? No, but they both show a firearm. So that's what I mean. it's difficult. It's very difficult, and it's you're trying to set rules for this stuff. And when people push for YouTube to start censoring, they never think they're going to get censored too. And now you're starting to hear stories though of people who are getting censored, who were the very people calling for the censorship in the first place. They're like, yeah, that's what you're going to get. Heck, they probably censor this video because we're talking about it. Somebody complained. That's all it's going to take is somebody to complain about the video. I was watching a couple of months ago, I was watching a video on Fallout 4 mods. A guy who does, I forget his name, MX mods or something. Anyway, and he's got a very successful channel, but he made a comment, and it was a joking reference, but he made a comment to like somebody reported him because he had some mod running, and in his production he had he didn't edit out something that he should have, because he had like a nude mod or something going on his thing, but he never shows any of that because he'll get in trouble with YouTube. But apparently he missed something, and somebody caught it and reported him for it, and so they took his video down and he had to redo it. It's just stuff like that. There's always somebody out there ready to report you. You always got to be on your guard. Treat every microphone as if it's hot. There's my advice. Treat every microphone as
like
if
it's hot.
Yep, like it's on, and you'll never get in trouble. And if you live by that, and you assume all the mics are on all the time, you assume the cameras are on all the time, then you're less likely to mess up.
One of the people that I watch here on YouTube, his name is Harley Mornstein. He's called the Sauce Boss. He told a story one time where he was actually working for this company, and he had a microphone on him, and he didn't realize he had a microphone on him. He walks, they're like, okay, we want you to do Epic Mealtime. They just slap all this food in front of him. He's like, that's not what Epic Mealtime is. We make food. We put it together. This is not Epic Mealtime. And he says, excuse me. He walks into his studio. He gets on the phone with his, his agent, and he's like, these guys are a bunch of schmucks. They're a bunch of putzes. they're a bunch of goofs. They think Epic Mealtime is this, and so he gets
off. And they could hear the whole thing.
Yeah, the guy walks in. He's like, "Hey, don't worry, everything's fine. Come back out. We'll shoot it the way you want." He comes out, and they're just like, "Hey, we heard everything you said." And he looks down, and he's just like, and they're like, they point at him, and he's just like, "Oh, oops." So that's when he realized.
That happened to the CNN anchor, I believe, a couple of years ago, Brooke Baldwin. She wore her lavalier mic, the lav mic that clips on up here, and she left it on, and she walked out of off the studio stage and went to the bathroom, and in the bathroom was talking with one of her coworkers about some like Thanksgiving plans with her family and how she wasn't happy about the plans, and like trash talking people. It was, yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. If you always treat every microphone as if it's on all the time, but especially the more you work with this stuff, and if you're around it all the time, familiarity. I don't say breeds contempt, but it's like you just forget. You get complacent.
That's why I love editing. Honestly, I've said stuff in my videos where I didn't want to say it, and then I went back and I edited it out. I took it completely out so people wouldn't hear me go on this hour rant about something that I was upset about. So that's what I love about editing.
Right. No, I hear you. There's pros and cons to it. Like with live, there's a certain when you're doing a live broadcast, you're essentially working without a net, right? You're tightrope walking without a net. If you fall, that's it, right? And so there's a certain amount of energy that comes with that performance. Think of it like Broadway acting versus movie acting or TV acting, right? Like one has editing and stuff, and one is live. And so whatever happens live happens live. And then there's this sort of halfway between, which is called live to tape, which is kind of what we're doing here, which is it's recorded. But if you just treat it as if it's live, and you're not going to go back and make edits, you're not going to, like, if everybody goes in saying, okay, whatever happens, this is it, that's another way to do it. And then you kind of capture some of that energy on a straight up live performance. But it is a performance, and yeah, it's like and editing when you go into it knowing you're going to edit, then it's just a whole different mindset. I mean, right? You're like thinking,
Yeah.
okay, how do I want to frame this? What do I want to say? And how do I use this? I could use this soundbite or music or something like that. And you go into it knowing those things, and then you can build your performance around those certain elements.
All right. And that is a perfect lesson, folks, for everybody to learn about, is to know what platform you're on, what balance you're doing, what kind of content you're making. Because me and Mr. Calendar are both entertainers here. We are both on a different platforms. He is in the radio platform. I'm here on the YouTube platform. But together, we're all human beings. We're all gathered under one roof. We're all trying to be positive, and we're all trying to share our messages. And just remember, folks, always to stay positive and to step back for a second and say, okay, here's what I want to do.
Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. Yeah, you want to know where you're going. Otherwise, how do you know when you get there? So have an idea what you want what you want the content to be, and the really good ones, the ones who do YouTube content. And I've watched a lot of YouTube videos. I mean, a lot of it is on a lot of it is on gaming, and so I'll watch because I've got an Xbox One. I video game, and which, by the way, have you done? That was going to be my fourth question for you. Have you ever tried Ark Survival? And have you ever tried? I don't know if if you play on a computer or if it's Xbox or what.
Xbox, not Xbox, but I play on. I was actually before I got on the phone with you, I was actually playing GTA 5 online.
Okay, so on a computer. So have you? And there's the other one. I haven't played it, but that Conan Exiles game.
No, I've never played that one actually.
Yeah.
Just GTA and the Nintendo 64 GoldenEye.
Oh, that's a good one. We used to, we played the original GoldenEye back probably 20 years ago.
Oh,
Yeah, on the old Xbox, I think it was, at a college off-campus house with me and three friends, and we would each have our own little, square in the corner of the screen, and we'd be staring at this tiny little box, 'cause
you mean the
screen.
Nintendo 64? Because that's you said Xbox. Because
Well, yeah. Gosh, I don't remember. Well, yeah, it would have been the original Xbox we played GoldenEye on. Yeah, not the 360, the one before that.
oh, you mean the remake? You mean the remake? You mean?
I don't know. I guess the Nintendo 64 that I had would have been high school, 1990.
Yeah,
Duck
I
Hunt
was a teenager.
and Duck Hunt and Mario Brothers. Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Jeez. Yeah, I say I'm the champion of GoldenEye. 22 points, world heavyweight GoldenEye champion of the world. And world heavyweight MTV's May Comedy Central's champion of the world also.
Very nice.
Dominating both platforms at the same time and working here on YouTube. Let me think here. Well, Mr. Calendar, did you want to ask me an impression, like that, or did you have any particular impressions you
Well,
have?
I don't. So I don't know what your audience demographic is, if they tend to skew right or left politically. So I would ask you to do one of. I'd ask you to do one of each: Donald Trump and Barack Obama.
Okay. Well, first I'll just say. Well, I just want to say that America, we're gonna make America. Oh, wait a minute. Let's second. Okay.
That sounded almost like Obama that time.
Oh God. And this is amazing, humongous, and we're gonna make America great again. And look at my beautiful wife here. Look at her. She's very wonderful. We're gonna make everybody look like her, and just amazing, awesome. It's just humongous, amazing, making America great again.
All right, now Barack Obama.
Barack Obama. Let me think.
Remember he talks in a sort of halting way, and he'll do, or sometimes he'll even do this number. Speeches. That's what he does.
I don't know. I don't remember any lines from Barack Obama
How about
exactly.
it's if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your health insurance, you can keep your health insurance.
If you like your doctor, you can keep your health insurance, but we will charge you for Obamacare.
Your your Donald Trump is superior to your Barack Obama, but that's better because it's more current. So yeah, you can make money with the Trump one.
Oh, I could do Hillary Clinton. Now here's the deal: you have to understand.
Interviews. I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to listen to that. We don't need to listen to Hillary Clinton ever.
I can't imagine how that phone call went. Honestly, hey Hillary, how you doing? Hi.
Right.
I understand. I'll let you go. Yes.
Yeah, on the election night. Yeah, gosh, awkward.
Awkward.
All right, so we've now gone for 50 minutes.
Yes,
I
sir.
hope that's close to the record for the longest interview.
Yes, sir.
I'm
And
gonna
I just
check.
I'll end it off
I'm
here
gonna,
real quickly.
I'm gonna compare. I'm gonna compare this length to all of your other interviews to see if I was able to talk the longest. Because as a professional talker, I would be sad if I was unable to talk for longer than anybody else on your channel. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
So, folks, I want to say thank you so much for watching. This is Mr. Pete Callender over here, and he
Thank you.
has an electrifying radio show here in Western North Carolina. And I will put the link to I'll put the link down below to his website, so you can go listen to all the subjects. And if you tune in closely, you might hear me on Mr. Callender's show at some point. I've called into his show a few times in the past. So if you
I don't know how he gets past the phone screener. I don't know how he does that. You can listen. You can listen on the iHeartRadio app, and you can listen if you're obviously in the area. You can listen to 570 AM WWNC, or you can just check. You just go to the iHeartRadio app, and you can find it there on 570 WWNC. Or you can search my name, Pete Callender, and Tommy will put it in the description down below.
Definitely down there.
And thank you, Tommy. I appreciate the invitation.
Thank you. And as always, folks, I'm Tommy NC 2010, and I'm keeping you on the inside fact. Subscribe, support, stay positive. I tip my hat to you, folks. Have a great night.